news. How Northern PDP power brokers plot to teach Wike a lesson and ensure that North grabs 2023 PDP ticket. The details. There is tension in the PDP ahead of Thursday's NEC meeting of the party, where the zoning of the national chairmanship to the north will be rectified. Different groups that are interested in the 2023 presidential election are mobilizing themselves to protect their political interests. The northern cabals in the PDP are not happy that the zoning committee, led by Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, zoned the national chairmanship position of the party to the north. They are annoyed that Governor Nysome of Rivers State masterminded such a plan and are plotting to teach Wike a political lesson that will make the North grab the 2023 presidential ticket of the PDP at all costs. That will form the basis of our discussion. How do Northern PDP power brokers plot to teach Wike a lesson and ensure that a Northern presidential candidate of the PDP emerges in 2023? Core Northern PDP politicians are mobilizing themselves to frustrate all plans of Wike and ensure that the NEC of the party does not endorse the decision of the zoning committee that North should produce the national chairmanship of the PDP. According to Nation newspaper, core Northern politicians in PDP have named a strong delegate, which includes Sule Lamido and Ahmed McAfee, to force the NEC of the PDP to reject the zoning of the national chairman to the north. Also, the camps of Atiku Abubakar, Bukola Saraki, and Aminu Tambuwal, who are Northern politicians interested in the 2023 presidential election, have backed this move to ensure that any strategy Wike comes up with will fail. Wike, who is a major financier of the PDP, has been dictating the pace in PDP for a while now, and it appears that the northern PDP cabals are ready to ensure that his plan to ensure that the PDP fields a southern presidential candidate in 2023 does not work. Both northern PDP politicians and southern PDP leaders understand that the decision of the NEC on Thursday on this issue of zoning the national chairmanship to the north is final. That's why they are prepared to ensure that they achieve their aim on this matter. The Northerners PDP power brokers, they plot to teach Wike a lesson and to ensure that the Northerners grab the 2023 PDP tickets. There was tension in the PDP ahead of the NEC meeting of the party, where the zoning of the national chairmanship to the north will be rectified. Governor Nysome Wike of Rivers State masterminded such a plan, and they are plotting to teach Wike a political lesson that will make the North grab the 2023 presidential ticket of the PDP at all costs. We know our recent presidential candidate, who is President Muhammadu Buhari, is from the North. But Wike is saying, why would the president come from the North again? The president has to come from the South. But they said they are going to teach him a lesson, that the president will come from the north again. At all costs, the president will come from the north. They call Northern PDP politicians. They are mobilizing themselves to frustrate all the plans of Wike and ensure that the NEC of the party does not endorse the decision of the zoning committee that North should produce the national chairman of the party, of the PDP. Governor Nysome Wike is a major financier of the PDP, and he has been dictating the pace in the PDP for a while now. So they know that any decision, anything he says in the PDP, we actually stand because he's a financier. But the Northern PDP are saying, we will make sure that the presidential candidate grabs the ticket and becomes the president in the year 2023. They are prepared to ensure that they achieve their aim on this matter. Both the northern PDP politicians and southern PDP leaders, they understand that the decision of the NEC on Thursday on the issue of zoning the national chairmanship to the north is final. This is coming in when they said PDP to raise zoning committee as the presidential ticket of the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, appears ahead for the North, as was witnessed in 2019. The party has denied ceding the slot to the North, with northern politicians such as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Zenith President Bukola Saraki, and former House of Representatives Speaker Aminu Tambuwal leading the quest for the PDP presidential ticket, and southern politicians angling for the national chairmanship. The question of the presidential ticket going to the north was not in serious dispute. However, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan, told Vanguard that the party is here to take a stand and will start deliberating on the issue next week. Asked if the party had secretly zoned the presidential ticket to the north and shortchanged the south, especially the southeast, Ologbondiyan said, "No, we have not zoned it to the north. The party has not reached that stage. We are going to have the National Executive Committee NEC meeting. At that NEC, we will compose a committee on the zoning of the party office. This is when the party will discuss zoning." The issue of zoning the presidency has not come up at all. Ours is a structural party. We take issues one after the other. The decision on zoning of party offices will be without prejudice to the zoning of the presidency. The North primed to produce PDP presidential candidate. In spite of Ologbondiyan's clarification, a northerner is likely to fly PDP's presidential flag in 2023. Why? Most of those posturing to grab the ticket are from the north, just as the bulk of the national chairmanship candidate comes from the south. Going by the party's tradition, no region holds the presidential ticket and party chairmanship at the same time. If the north produce the chairmanship, the presidential flag goes to the south and vice versa. This has been the tradition since 1999. Incidentally, most of those being tipped to succeed Prince Uche Secondus as national chairmanship hail from the south. They include former National Secretary of the party, Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola, former Deputy National Chairman, Chief Olabode George, two-time Lagos governorship candidate, Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, and former Governor of Cross River Chairman, Chief Olabode George. And former Governor of Cross River State, Senator Nyilel Imoke, among others. Although the accountant moves to get a northerner to succeed Secondus, which will pave the way for the South to produce the presidential candidate, some third party argue that the PDP stands a better chance of winning the 2023 presidential poll